What you don't realize, and what most people don't realize, is you have so many suspects in here that are robbing you, lying to you, and cheating you. And those suspects you allow to live rent-free, remember, rent-free, inside of here. And so they keep stealing and robbing and stealing and robbing you blind and making you make the poorest of choices to get the poorest of results. And then you take all of that bad evidence of negativity and bad results, and you use that as your logic, so to speak, and you use that as logic as to why you are in your circumstance. And that is what most people do, and that's how they go in through this vicious cycle and they spiral. The whole point of this event is to end that.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of The Human Blueprint. I'm Angelo, and I have the special Herman with me today. And in this episode, we want to do a little bit of story time, if that's okay with everybody. Herman, are you okay with doing some stories?
Everybody loves story time.
Yes. And so I have a very special story to share, and it's a little bit about my journey on, with life. And so everybody kind of already knows that I've talked to about before I met Herman, where I was at, to how he helped me, and all of that great stuff. That's a great story. But most people don't understand like how that story actually evolved. Because, when I met Herman, I was in a pretty rough spot. Would you say so, Herman?
You could use that word.
Like when I say rough, I mean that I had no clue who I was. I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't have any direction or clarity in my life. And so I struggled. I struggled with things like anxiety and depression and all of those, questioning myself, all of those things that I think a lot of people can relate to. And so I'm happy to say that today I've had tremendous amount of growth, but I have also taken the leap, taken the jump. And I remember one of the first and biggest jumps that I took was Herman was doing an event. And this event was on July 2nd. I remember the exact date. And the reason why I remember that is because every year my family would do a 4th of July vacation, little weekend trip. And this was the first year in I don't know how long that I made the decision that I wasn't going to go on that trip. I was going to go to Herman's event. And so, I've already known Herman. I had a few sessions with him. I've had a lot of growth, but I was still stuck and I was still really looking to grow more. And so I was so committed that it was a no-brainer to me. I was like, I'm going to this event, no matter what. And so I get to the event, one person, and I leave a different person. And so that event definitely had that effect on me. I remember like my first time actually meeting Herman in person, like it was the coolest experience for me. And I think that events have such a great way of really bringing people together and really giving the experience that can help you grow. And that's what it did for me. So Herman, do you remember that first event? Do you remember meeting me at that first event?
So let's tell everyone that Angelo was so giddy that he was like his little 5-year-old kid who just got his candy. And he sat in the very front row to make sure that he couldn't miss a single word that was ever said, or to miss a single thing that was ever done. Or whatever we did, he did not want to miss any second of it. And that's how much he valued it. That's how much he was yearning for it. Correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I was like laser focused, like wanted to, really embody and just fully embody the event. And that's why I think I got so much out of it.
Yeah. And your notes, you had more than, I think, 3-4 times more than notes than anybody else.
I still have those notes.
Right? And it's not that the notebook got smart and you got dumb. It's that the notebook was smart, but you got smarter because you knew what to do with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So true. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, so that's just the first event.
Yeah, that was just the first event.
You've been to many.
I have. And I remember the next event. So after that first event, for everybody watching on the video, like my growth was, met Herman, growing, got on my second session, growing, went to the event, exponential growth. And to the point that by the time the second event came, which was a month later, Herman actually asked me to speak and to share my story at the event. So that to me was a huge honor, because I was actually able to share my testimony, how much I grew, and it was completely out of my comfort zone. I was super nervous for it, but I also knew that Herman asked me for a reason, because I had the results to show for it. And it's not just me that has the results to show for it. I mean, there's many more people that come to these events and their life is changed forever. In fact, why don't we share some of those stories with you?
At the event, life-changing. My life's changed. I got a second chance, and it's up to me to stay on this. He's given me everything that I can possibly ask for and more. And now I get to go into the world with a clean slate.
It was until I came to this event and just gave myself the chance to let go of whatever it was I was holding on inside, that I feel a lot lighter and realize that I had been putting all this limitation and all this rigidness had just been something that I had been creating for myself, but I was totally blinded from that.
Coming here to participate in the small group, I really tap into the deeper sense of myself, and that also has no words to describe.
So you see how powerful that is. It's not just one person changing or getting the growth. It's everybody as a community. That's what Herman always talks about, is the community, is the unity. And I never really understood what that was until I came to those events and experienced it.
So Angelo, do you know why they're so powerful? A lot of people claim they know why. They go to quite a few, but these events that we do, they're on a different level, and I'll share with you why. See, when you go to these events, especially the ones we create and develop for everybody, number one, when we do these, most of the people that are flying in, it's number one, they're outside of their comfort area. So they're not just going to keep getting the same patterns and getting the same results, number one. Number two, we created such a warm, welcome family environment so that you can take where you are to get that exponential growth like you discussed and described earlier, so that you can get the results you want. Number three, a lot of times when people go to these things, it's just like a, how do we say, just to make you feel good. And these things are not just made for you to feel good and then you don't know what to do with yourself after a day. These things are meant to have everlasting growth. And that's why we always want to put the right tools in your hands to ensure that once you know how to use those tools, you can go and get better results.
Exactly. I remember, Herman, at the second event, I got to experience a little bit of behind the scenes because I was speaking at it. I was helping the attendees, have that life-changing experience that I had at the first event, which was just brought me so much fulfillment. And I remember I asked Herman, how he prepares for the events. Does he write down what he's going to say? Does he write bullets? Does he have slides? Does he think about it and practice what he says? And I remember his answer was, if I told you the truth, then you probably wouldn't believe me. And so I shared with Herman how that event that I spoke at, I memorized like every word that I was going to say. And it's not because I didn't have the growth, but it's just because I was still growing. And, you know, I was already way outside of my comfort zone. So practicing and having repetition to me was the thing that helped me really have a little bit of comfort while I was outside of that comfort zone. And so now that I've really had like the behind the scenes look of, okay, I spoke at an event, and then the next event I was full-fledged a part of it, helping put it together, helping share it with people, and all of that great stuff. You know, I've seen Herman, we've planned and prepared for events, and I remember the one we did in Mexico for the company. Herman had about 3 bullet points, with each had 3 words, total of 9 words on the card, and he went and delivered a session for about 3 hours, 3 to 5 hours. Herman, how do you do that?
So here's the thing. Most people learn through just intellect and information. So it's just memorize, it's just information, it's just what you can retain based off of what you choose to perceive or what you choose to like, okay? The way I train is never to use just intellect and information, but learn to feel it, learn to live it, learn to be it. And so if you see a lot of people and they get on stage and they can rehearse all these things and they're like a method actor, right? They can know exactly how to say it, how to market it, how to make you feel a certain thing. But I've been behind those scenes too, Angelo. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they get off stage, snap of a finger, they become the actual real person. And when they go on stage, snap of a finger again, it's like, you know, action, right? It's almost like a movie, right? Where they're playing a character, not being genuine. Mm-hmm. And I see so many people who are misled by those who are not genuine or who live it. And a lot of people who are not always genuine always need, number one, the PowerPoint. They can't do anything without a PowerPoint. Number two, they can't do anything if they don't like force memorize for like a week about what they're going to say, how they're going to say it, just like an actor, right? Number three, a lot of these people find it very, very difficult to answer questions on the spot. Mm-hmm. People don't like that because if they're not it and they're not living it, how are they going to give you the answer? Right? And so I just noticed these things, and that's why when we do our events, we really want to make it very special and different and unique, that when you come to it, you actually get the real substance. You actually leave with the tools, right? You actually have results. That's what we aim for.
Mm-hmm. And so we definitely want to share more details about the event that we have coming up. We'll get into that in just a little bit. So stick around for those details because you don't want to miss it. And Herman, I just had a question for you. So obviously you can read people. And so when you're up there and you're working with a group of people, does the crowd have like this unified energy that you can read? And if you can read that, does that help you, does that help you help them to a better degree?
Yes and no. So every room is different, number one. And so you could do your best to get everybody to a certain level in that room, which is okay. So that's your job, to get everyone to a certain level. But the issue is that once you get them to that level, a lot of people still want you to hold their hand to get them to the other side of the ocean or the river. And the problem with that is a lot of people, they have a lot of baggage, they have a lot of emotions, they have a lot of hang-ups, right, if you will, attachments. And it's very difficult for someone to really grasp and integrate and absorb everything that's being given right in front of them if they're bringing all of that stuff to the table or all of that stuff to the event. And that's why when we have our events, we're always very, very upfront to tell people, leave that stuff outside or where it came from. You don't want it here. Because when you come to, the events we do, it's grow only zone, right? And it's so fun because you get to do it with community, with other like-minded people. And the best part is everyone leaves better than when they first arrived. They can never recognize the person in the mirror anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like you're reborn again, and you leave with that clean slate, with that clarity, and you know exactly where you need to improve and you just go, you just do it.
Correct.
So our last event, Herman, it was called The Big Fun. So that's just and this one was like a private one. It was more intimate, very intimate actually, invite only. And that's just to go to show you the level of where, you know, we want to take these events is fun. They need to be fun, number one,
Yes.
so that everybody can grow and have that experience and really change their life. So Herman, a lot of people attend a lot of events, but sometimes they don't have that change, or it doesn't last that long. Why is that?
Well, most events are, number one, pitch fests, which means everyone that goes up is just wanting to pitch you something or, you know, sell you something. And that's not something we encourage or that we like at all, because that's not real substance. Number two, a lot of times people who get on stage, they just want to rile you up so that you would buy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't agree with that, because if you're going to get someone's energy high and up, it's because you want to really help that person get to point B. If they're at point A, you want to get them to point B, right? You want to really give them the tools to get there. Number three, a lot of times when people go to these events, they have unrealistic expectations on one hand, but then they have where they don't give themselves the best chance on the second hand. So a lot of times they want to write everything down, intellect and information in the book, but they don't choose to become it. They don't choose to live it, and they don't choose to be it. And that's where the secret lies. And that's what we're focused on, is making sure that you have it inside your DNA so that you can go out and live it and get better results, you know, get high level results, high performance results.
Exactly. Yeah, the events are much different. And I think that it would be really nice for everybody to just hear from other people, because the events changed my life. But what if my opinion or what if my perspective is biased? So we'll help share some of those with you so that, you know, you can hear people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different experiences, and hear what they have to say.
Yeah, and I think you would see it's many people from many walks of life, many different cultures, and you'll see they all have a common theme. And so we'll let you see what that common theme is and see if you can find it.
I was just here at Herman's event. I came in with like a blank mindset, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Completely blew my mind. He's an amazing guy. We're surrounded by amazing people. He has a message. You have to listen to him. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Herman.
I was brought out here by my daughter. It was a Mother's Day gift. She's been trying to find something to help her through, and so we do things together quite a bit. So when we got out here, and this was new to us. We had no idea what to expect or what was going to happen, and pleasantly surprised, very pleasantly surprised, learning about the mind, the body, and the soul. The soul is the part that I had been missing all this time. But you have to have all three in order to have it in balance. And that's kind of what I learned from Herman. I see he's very disciplined, and that's something that I feel like I need to be doing, is the discipline part. But I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and I have gotten a lot out of it. I really have.
I was so impressed by this seminar. I feel like I've been a person that's carried a lot of baggage all my life, which holds me back. And with the words and thoughts that Herman has shared with me, I've been able to let go of a lot of things, and I think I'll continue to let go of a lot of things and make myself a better version of who I am and really be who I am without worrying about what the world is thinking of me. And so I'm really excited to have shared this time with Herman and his team, and I thank them so much for sharing with us and being a part of us here in Puerto Vallarta and making our team a better team. Thank you.
Experience has been amazing. Energy levels are high. If you guys are into conscious mind, into being great and community and so on and so forth, I highly recommend you to attend the seminars and whatever Herman does.
Just got out of the meeting there with Herman Sue. It's not my first time running into, well, not running in. I've met Herman previously via Skype call, and via these two experiences I've had with him, I can definitely say that he's on a different level of understanding than most people can even comprehend. He sees all the traps in life, all the obstacles. And he sees you, I think, most importantly. And because he can see that, he knows how to harness that person inside of you to really bring it out so you can give that person that you always wanted to be back to the world.
Did you find it? Comment below what the common theme is. But what if they didn't find it, Herman?
Well, then they will have to be in live to join us to see that common theme themselves.
So let's talk a little bit about the event that we have coming up. Let's talk about number one. It is going to be in Los Angeles, California. It's going to be December 14th and 15th. And let's talk about really what we're going to cover, what we're going to go over at this event.
So I think your mic cut out there. It's December 14th and 15th.
Yes, December 14th, December 15th. And we'll definitely have details in the description. So we'll have a link that you can check out and get the finer details. But, you know, stay tuned to this as well, because we're going to hear from Herman. What is this event about?
You know, what's the common problem that a lot of people have, Angelo? What is a common problem that the average person on this planet has?
So a lot of people reach out to us, and a few of the common words that they use is stuck, lost, confused.
Right. And a lot of that is mental, correct?
Yes, they're stuck in their mind. They're lost in their mind. The mind is like their worst enemy. Because I've been there. That's why I know it.
Exactly. And so we really wanted to name this event and really focus this event on how to conquer that. Because not until you conquer that can you necessarily apply the tools we're going to give you and then use those tools to go get much better results.
So have you ever wanted to conquer your mind? I know I have, because we talked a little bit about this, and my mind has taken me like to crazy places, crazy thoughts, from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows that I have personally experienced. And one thing about Herman that I've known Herman for almost 4 years now. And the one thing that is so apparent is he never has a bad day. Never. In my over 1,000 days of knowing Herman, I've never seen him have a bad one.
Have I gotten sick?
No. So is that the byproduct? Is that one of the byproducts of conquering the mind? Is that you control it and you utilize it so that you can have more favorable circumstances in your life?
Correct. And we can't necessarily control every circumstance that we're going to get, but if we can control everything that is the mindset, the attitude, the ability to perform, the ability to make sure we're always putting our best effort, then eventually through practice and perpetuation, we can get much better circumstances that are more favorable, right? They're called fortune. Mm-hmm. But if we only want to do something once and, it didn't work, or listen to something once, that didn't work for me, and we don't put the same perpetual effort behind it, we're not going to get the results we want. And then we end up stuck in neutral, going nowhere. And that's why when we create these events, Angelo, it's to make sure you always learn how to move forward.
Exactly. So I'm putting myself in the viewer's perspective to see like what questions they would have, what things would be helpful for them to know if that this is the right thing for them, this is the right event for them. So who is this event for?
Anybody and everybody who uses their mind.
So chances are that's probably you listening or watching.
Whether you're an athlete, a parent, entrepreneur, business owner, employee, whatever it is, you all need to learn how to use this, right? But a lot of times this uses you. So
yes.
Picture this, Angelo, okay? Let's say someone committed a crime And so you gave your description, and the detectives and the police go grab a whole bunch of people that they feel fits that description that they have, right? And they put you in a whole line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that has like the 6 feet or 7 feet, like how tall that person is, right? And you pick them, and each one has a number, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you're all suspects, correct? What you don't realize, and what most people don't realize, is you have so many suspects in here that are robbing you, lying to you, and cheating you. And those suspects you allow to live rent-free. Remember, rent-free inside of here. And so they keep stealing and robbing and stealing and robbing you blind, and making you make the poorest of choices to get the poorest of results. And then you take all of that bad evidence of negativity and bad results, and you use that as your logic, so to speak, and you use that as logic as to why you are in your circumstance. And that is what most people do, and that's how they go in through this vicious cycle, and they spiral. The whole point of this event is to end that.
That was powerful. Can anybody relate to that feeling of that vicious cycle where this thing just starts to spin just a little bit, and then it just gets a little faster, and then before you know it, it's out of control?
Mm-hmm. And that's why if we can't conquer this, it makes it very difficult to do almost all the other things.
Very true. Well, I'm really excited for this event. Is anybody else excited? I know that we've had, some of the first few people actually make that step forward and commit to themselves and say, I'm going to be there. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. 2020 is going to be the best year of my life because I'm going to go into it having conquered the mind. I'm pointing up here, but I know that's one thing we're going to get into at the event is really identifying and locating the 3 different parts of the mind. And I've already heard Herman say that it's something that's never been shared before.
No one has ever seen or heard this because it's something that's very special to me, that was passed down to me, that for the first time ever I'll be sharing so that maybe everyone can get much better results.
And you have to be there. You have to. If you want to grow and if you feel that this is right for you, then you have to be there. And if you have questions about anything whatsoever, then you have to ask them to us. And we will be more than happy to answer those for you, to really help do whatever we can to ensure that you are taken care of, because that's what this is all about. Everybody is very valued to us, and we simply want to make sure that you feel that value so that you can rise above to the next level.
So let's make 2020 perfect vision, clear, concise, so that you then know how to manage and go about getting much better results. And let's start that year off with a bang.
Let's do it. So if you're ready, then check out the description, click the link in there to learn more and to secure your spot. I know that there's a limited amount of, space that we have. And so it will go fast. Make sure that you don't miss out, because we can't wait to make this the best year yet together.
And let's do it, and let's see what we can allow fortune to come to us, right? And allow all of the good things that were meant for us to happen to us. And we just needed to deviate just that one extra degree, let go of that one little thing and just allow all of ourselves to be given a chance. Remember, preparation, that means opportunity. People call that luck. Well, let's get rid of the word luck. Let's get the preparation. See how much time we put the effort in, allow better opportunities into our life. Let's get better results.
Let's do it. I have goosebumps because I'm so excited, because I genuinely and authentically know what these events have done for me. And so I'm excited to see what it can do for you. So be sure to get your ticket and let us know if you have any questions. We'll have all the details in the description. You have questions, we'll have an email for you, And, we can't wait to see you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.